Here are Ryan's top 3 favorite wrestlers. Number 3, Will Ospreay. Number 2, Kenny Omega. Number 1, Master Wada. No way, that can't be right. Damn! Now back to Jack and Ryan on the MonsterCast.
The Backlash France review is going to be brought to you by Sleeves.com. As you can see, this beautiful headband right here. You can get 25% off of Sleeves if you use the promo code MNSTR_25, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. Let's talk Backlash France review, okay? Let's do it.
When did we start doing ads again?
Do what?
When did we start doing ads again?
I mean, when I wanted to. How about that? I mean, when did we start doing it again? The promos never went away, my guy. It's just I didn't use them.
I haven't vetted these companies.
I had to get a new computer, so I didn't have all the shit set up to even do it. So now I got to pay for it. WWE Backlash France review.
Shit's on layaway.
By the way, we both went 5-0, shocking to no one.
Wow, we're so good at this.
Didn't bet on anything, should have. Didn't bet on the horse racing either, though, so that's good. I didn't lose anything on that, because Mystic Dan, no one saw that fucking coming. All right, so anyway.
That's what I would have picked.
Yeah, I'm sure.
This has got a cool name.
All right, so
in a horse.
So this was obviously, in my opinion, a mid-pay-per-view enhanced by a very loud crowd. I don't agree with Dave Meltzer giving 5 stars to Cody versus AJ Styles. No. I thought that was a reach. I would have gave it a 4.25 or 4.5, depending on. I gotta watch it again. I still haven't watched it, but I said this on Twitter.
I probably would have gave it a 4. Having it end at one.
I was leaning towards 4.25 for me, but
one fucking Crossroads ends the match. Get the fuck out of here.
Is it not possible for this man to come up with a different finisher so we don't have to see a million Crossroads in the matches anyway?
He's got to, because at this point everybody's taking like fucking 4 and kicked out, and then AJ takes 1 and gets like a slow cover, and then still doesn't kick out from 1. That was too. I didn't like that. I did not like that at all.
Right, some of the stuff that I did like from the show, the singing Orton's entire theme was fucking awesome. That had to be one of the coolest things for Orton to start off the show, and then everybody singing not just the fucking chorus, the entire fucking song, dude. It was crazy.
Do like Xavier does. He does the he does the chorus, but then he just da 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 for the
fucking nuts.
And so the "you talk to me" part, yeah, nobody knows the words. But the U.S. audience tried to do it. Monday? Was it Monday?
Monday. And they failed miserably.
They weren't all doing it, but a lot more of them were singing the whole song than had previous.
So now overseas fans are so much better than us that we have to act like we need to raise our bar up to them, and then when you fail and look like shit, it's just like, oh yeah, well yeah, they're better crowds than us. We fucking suck.
I mean, like, if you think it's cool, then sing the fucking song. I mean,
I thought it was awesome when they fucking said sang Adam Copeland's song at the pay-per-view. That was cool as shit. Or was that at the pay-per-view? Yeah. Was that the pay-per-view? Yeah, it was definitely in Canada. It was one of the Canada shows.
They've done it a couple times. But yeah, they've sang it.
Not the entire fucking song.
Well, they sang it until it got cut off for.
No, they sang the rest of the chorus when it got cut off. That's what made it cool to me. But Randy Orton's though, the entire thing was cool as shit. The camera shaking from jumping up and down for AJ's phenomenal chant was awesome. That was fucking nuts. I thought the goddamn building was gonna collapse because they're jumping up and down like it's a fucking soccer stadium. That shit ain't built for you guys to be doing that. Just so y'all know.
You know, there was a Travis Scott concert in Italy, I think it was, and like people were doing that for one of his songs, and the measurements taken from around it were the same as like a 1.3 earthquake or some shit. Everybody was worried that they were having a fucking earthquake.
Dude, there was a report about SmackDown in France the night before where they got like a noise ordinance fucking thing from the police or whatever because they were too fucking loud.
Yeah.
And if they got it that night, they sure the fuck got it on the pay-per-view.
All right, well, let's talk about the crowd because I was a lot more people in the chat that I was watching it with were on your side of this than mine. Now,
I will say that I have been seeing on the Twitter, on my timeline, more people are coming out and being on your side, but that could just because they hate fun. I don't know. You know how those people are. Do you think
my take is because I hate fun?
No. Your immediate thought was in the moment, okay? These are
Yeah.
people that come out days after and then try to jump on a bandwagon that they see across their timeline and then be like, oh yeah, that crowd wasn't that good. It was overrated or it was annoying or whatever. They didn't have that initial thought during the fucking show because the entire fucking timelines of everybody during the show was that this crowd is awesome.
Okay, so here's what I'll say about it. It had its moments where it was cool. I felt the AJ thing during his entrance was really cool.
The phenomenal chant in general, I think, was cool.
Yeah, there were times where it was like cool to have an audience that hyped. The problem was when they were like cheering relentlessly for fucking everything, it was throwing off the pace of some of the matches. Because they would like do like a basic fucking move, and then everybody in the crowd is losing their fucking minds from like a 2 count fucking 45 seconds ago, and they're just trying to do like chain wrestling and shit, and they stop and pause and wait for the fucking crowd to like get over it because they're waiting for input and feedback from the crowd on
Dude,
what
the
they're
2
doing.
count. I
It was too
100%
much.
on board with you on the 2 count. The 2 count, if I could take anything away from that fucking thing, the initial thing, yes, that's fine. But then singing it for fucking 15 seconds afterwards, don't
Yeah,
like that. Hated it.
No, it
because they
was
did it every 2 count. So you couldn't even do false finishes because you probably didn't want them to fucking do that chant. Like,
Yeah.
like fuck that. Don't pin here. Don't pin here. I don't want to hear this shit.
that's why AJ didn't kick out of the Crossroads. He's just like, nah, I don't want to hear that shit again.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. He said, nah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not alone
Yeah.
with this shit.
Tell these French people to shut the fuck up.
Or, hey, if you hit me with the Crossroads and I kick out and they start singing it and then you immediately hit me with the other Crossroads, they'll still be singing the other 2 count and then I get pinned and it's like, that's weird.
Yeah. Like what I said at the time and what I still stick with watching clips of it back is that it really took away from the pacing of a lot of the matches. And you could tell it was like throwing off people in the ring too, because they would do it's got to be hard to call shit like that too. But just the pacing of like normal chain wrestling type stuff or like basic sequences and shit, they would stop and pause and be like, "Oh, look, the crowd's going crazy. Oh, it's so neat." Stop doing that. Just fucking wrestle the match. Like it was so distracting. And it wasn't exactly the same feeling that I get like watching old Full Sail shit from NXT where they're like the we are awesome type shit where it's like, "Oh yeah, we're good fans. Like we're part of the show. We're the third man." Like I hate that shit. I hate that shit so much. That's if you want to say that's me hating fun or whatever, then sure, I fucking hate fun. But that was the most annoying shit to me. Those are the worst crowds to watch. Um, and I didn't have exactly that vibe from it, but there was a point where it was like, oh, okay, they know that they're getting a certain reaction from it, and now they're just doing it kind of not for attention, but to be like, I don't know. It's like at a certain point, you know, you're taking away from the show and making yourselves the focus of the show, and you got to not do that.
I don't think it was. I think the 2 count thing definitely felt that way. I don't think the rest of it felt that way. I think they were just fucking super fucking like, okay, so we finally got a fucking PLE. We're going to make the most of this because we want this shit to come back to us. So we cannot fail in this moment. We can't be like fucking Nashville, Tennessee or some shit like that and then not show up and it's fucking dead the entire thing during fucking really good wrestling. So even if this wrestling is mid, we're going to fucking go out there and be fucking super stoked and fucking we want them to come back. Now the numbers afterwards, they weren't great apparently. It was supposed to be like their lowest grossing pay-per-view of all time or some shit is what I read somewhere. Have you read that? I read that somewhere.
But is that just because like people
I think that's partly due to because France did not pay them to come like other countries like Perth and
Perth is not a country.
Clash, whatever they had Clash at the Castle last year or whatever. Those people paid WWE to have the event there, so that went into the numbers, I guess. Whereas France didn't.
France doesn't need your fucking American tourism, boy.
I'm not paying you to come here, bro.
Not spreading your culture.
But it was cool. Like I think that they really did show up for the occasion. Now I hate the 2 chant count, but everything else I had a blast with. The cool moment where they were chanting the phenomenal chant in the ring, and then like wherever the fuck they had to do, and they were doing their special chants for certain people, and Samantha had to wait until it was over. I didn't have a problem with that. Really don't have a problem with anybody making Michael Cole and Corey Graves talk less. So if you're gonna be so fucking loud that Cole and Graves can't get anything off, that's a plus to me. Sorry about it. Don't
They're
care.
not that bad.
That's a plus. That's in the plus column.
Cole's not that bad.
Now he's not that bad when he was with Pat because I feel like he's more relaxed and he has more fun.
Well, Graves also tries to make the show about himself.
That's
which
true.
Is a recurring issue with.
You remember how good Corey Graves was when he first got on commentary?
Yeah, when he was nervous and would shut the fuck up. Yeah.
No, just like because he wasn't trying to play a fucking character.
Yeah.
He's almost as bad as the. He's almost as bad as the internet, anti-AEW internet people that you call them out for their bullshit and they're like, oh, I'm just in character. You're not a fucking character, bro. You're not anything.
Oh, that's so weird to me.
Corey Graves, you're an announcer, bro. Like, I'm so sick of the heel announcer. Unless it's Don Callis or Paul Heyman getting on commentary.
Yeah.
There's no reason for a commentator to be a heel commentator in 2024. Right. That makes no sense.
Yeah. Why would I keep you on my company if you're just going to be a dick to my talent on the desk? Yeah. I don't like that shit either. Taz kind of works when he or even Nigel to a certain extent, because their shit is very confined to specific people and it makes sense in the storyline. And Tony Schiavone even does that sometimes too, a little bit. But yeah, no, like heel commentators overall are just super distracting and fucking annoying.
Yeah, but Corey Graves has not had any interactions with any of these wrestlers to make that a fucking part of his character.
Yeah.
Hey, come here.
His long 6-match career or whatever.
Get on the show. Injured. Come here. Come here. Oh, get on the show.
How are you doing?
You want to say hello to Ryan? Happy birthday, Ryan, from Konami.
Hello.
And the other thing is, like, so the same thing with Bobby Heenan, right? So Bobby Heenan, he had the connection, long-ass history with Hogan. So when Hogan finally turned and went to the NWO, it turned Bobby Heenan into a face commentator all of a sudden because he never stopped hating Hogan. It was like Bobby Heenan was right the whole time when he was a heel commentator in WWE. It was so well done. That's just my hand, buddy. So well done. So, like, if you have a connection, like you were saying with, like, Taz and stuff, because he has a connection with Hook, he has a connection with Brian Cage, he has a connection with Ricky Starks, with Will Hobbs, all that kind of stuff. That makes sense. When you're literally not having any interaction with any of these people, and the one dude that you were a tag team champion with is now in AEW, there's nothing for you to be mad about unless someone is kicking the shit out of Carmella after a match or something because you're married to her. Other than that, there's nothing for... What are you so upset about, exactly? Like, his whole thing with Sasha Banks when she was there was so weird. Like, you can't trust Sasha Banks. It was like he was trying to create his own fake Bobby Heenan versus Hulk Hogan type deal.
Well, the other weird thing about him too is that everybody knows that he's with Carmella, and he'll still be out there and saying like weird shit about Tiffany Stratton. I don't get that, but whatever. It is what it is, I guess.
Well, I don't know if Nigel McGuinness is married or not, but he loves him some Mariah May.
That is true. Who doesn't? All right.
So, all right. Let's talk about what else. Okay, so we got all 5 right. So the confidence picks and everything updated. Let's talk about it real quick. I mean, it didn't really anything change, obviously, except that all our shit went up. Where is the predictions? There it is. All right. So we both got Bloodline right, beating Randy Orton and Kevin Owens in the first match. We both got Jade and Bianca winning the title, even though we both had it as our lowest confidence picks because we didn't know for sure because titles almost never change hands overseas. But we got that one right. That's the one I almost bet on, and I was like, Damian Priest beat Jey Uso. Bayley won the triple threat. And then, of course, Cody won the AJ Styles match. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Like, I really thought the backstage interaction between Paul Heyman and Jey Uso was very well done when the Bloodline walked by him first.
Yeah, they've been telling that story pretty well. Obviously building to Roman coming back and be like, hey, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Do we think that this is still being told fairly well compared to everything else because Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns have hands in that storyline where they're not going to do anything unless they fucking approve it, basically? Because I feel like that's what's happening.
Maybe, or it could just be that
Because
this
how
was
much
set up
better is the
before.
Bloodline story compared to everything else? It had the one little lull in it where everybody's like, okay, this is getting kind of ridiculous. Where like Jimmy
The
gets kicked
Jimmy
out of
and
the group
Jay
and then Jimmy comes and
turns.
costs Jey Uso
Yeah.
the title. That was fucking dumb to set up the Jimmy versus Jay thing when you didn't have to do that at all. But other than that part of it, it's been like well done the entire way.
This is the second lowest dip in it. The
But it's
first one
because
being
we're
that part.
raising up to something else, though.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a build. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. There's nothing else going on. Like, I know people are for some reason really invested in the CM Punk Drew McIntyre
Oh,
thing.
that's because of Drew, baby. That's because of Drew.
Right.
Drew is keeping that alive pretty much single handedly.
Drew is carrying the whole team on his back. And also, when that match happens, you can't expect that they're gonna do anything except for have CM Punk win. So I don't give a fuck. I don't care about it when it does happen. That's the other part
Hey,
of it for
by the
me.
way, congratulations, Drew McIntyre, getting that bag. Good job.
Oh,
Deserved
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
deserved it. Saw him on Pat McAfee's show right after he re-signed or whatever. He got the sword from The Rock and all that shit. I'm no doubt shit ton of money, I'm sure. Which I don't think he would have gotten if he didn't take social media into his own hands and start doing his own shit, because he just skyrocketed out of nowhere. Because he wasn't even that big of an online presence as far as I remember. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, after the CM Punk shit, he just fucking he took it and ran, dude. Like he just it's almost like something clicked and he was like, okay, I'm doing this. So that was cool. So he definitely deserves all the money that he got. And I do hope he wins against Punk, but I'm with you. It's probably not going to happen because you didn't just bring Punk back and give him all this money so that he could lose to McIntyre. And we already know that Punk, even though he says he's there to help other guys, he's not there to help a 40-something-year-old fucking Drew McIntyre. So he's going to want the dub so he can fucking move on and get his WrestleMania main event next year, because he didn't get it this last year because he got hurt again. And that's assuming that he can even get by Survivor Series, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble to get into WrestleMania without being hurt again.
Gonna put him in 3-man tag matches and wrap him up in fucking bubble wrap
Uh,
until
AEW was doing that too
WrestleMania.
and still didn't help. Let's do.
Well, he's not a good jumper.
How long do you think we keep this title on Damian Priest exactly?
Probably like another 3 months.
Do you think that they're going to keep it on him longer now because Rhea's out, and that they don't want him to lose it until Rhea comes back into, because it's going to be part of the storyline of the Judgment Day splitting, and you can't do that until Rhea's back? And now
I mean, they're
Dominic's hurt
already
too, obviously.
they're already doing the split now.
I mean, they've
Him
been doing
getting
the split for a while, honestly, if we're
well,
being real
him
about it,
getting
ever
his
since the
him
JD
getting
McDonough shit.
well, I don't know why the fuck he's there. He's
He's
like
there to take pins, bro.
he doesn't fit in with any of them. He doesn't belong
He's
there.
there to
Like he
take
just
pins. I'm telling you, that's what he's there for.
he's so distracting with his big ass head. Like I don't know what they do with him instead, but I just wish he wasn't there in that storyline. He takes away from it for me personally, but whatever. Um, I I think that they have to tell the story of Damian Priest leading the group while Rhea is gone, and then it falling to shit while Rhea is gone, and then her coming back and being like, "What the fuck happened to the group?" And then him basically being like, "Look, like they were being dicks." So I
That's
have
not
to,
a worse idea, because you could have Rhea come back and then she gets super pissed because she catches Dom and Liv in a precarious situation or something like that, a la
yeah,
China Eddie, and then she finally breaks off onto her own and becomes babyface away from the team.
yeah.
I can see that
I
happening.
mean, they have to pull the trigger on that someday.
We'll
So
see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that might be the way they're going. I don't know. A lot of injuries going on in WWE, and this is the problem with WWE, because when you have that many injuries to top people, because you have them wrestle all the fucking time, and then you're so top heavy because you're not pushing these other guys.
yeah,
It's like, well, this your product's gonna suffer for it.
there's
Which is why
definitely something you
AEW
notice
loaded
with
up on talent so
AEW.
that if somebody got hurt, you could plug somebody else in, and you're not losing quality of content.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah.
we both went 5-0. We both got 15 points. Our overall records now are 39 and 12, both tied still, so still vacated title. And I have 195 confidence points. You have 190.
Close. It's getting close. I think after Forbidden Door, we'll probably separate a little bit. I'll pull away.
All right, so did you want to talk about? Oh, let's talk about the clusterfuck that was the women's tag title match. It was great at first. I thought it was really solid. Then all of a sudden, in the middle of it, it was a clusterfuck of epic proportions. You had a very loud crowd. You had two teams that don't speak the same language for the most part, trying to communicate during that loud crowd. You had a referee trying to fix something in the middle of the match and would not lay off until it was fixed for whatever reason when they let that kind of shit go all the time. So I don't understand why it was such a big deal then. And then you had an ending where you pinned the wrong person anyway. So I don't know what the fuck happened there. Can you explain what you thought you saw when you were watching it?
The calling out how loud the crowd was makes sense to me. Definitely would fuck with communication, but there's no excuse not to know who the legal person is at the end of the match. Like that's, I know Brian Danielson taught her to know who the fucking legal person is. So apparently the WWE system has beaten that out of her.
I'm not even really blaming it on Jade. I'm blaming more the referee who made it such a big deal that Kyrie wasn't the legal person before, minutes before, but then at the end of the match, she wasn't the legal person, and they let her fucking do the pin then. So why'd you make it such a big deal as a referee before? And be like, no, that's not it. And then they do the thing where they tag her back in, and then later on at the end of the match, it still wasn't the legal fucking person, and then you counted the 3.
Well, I was hoping at the time that it was to set up like an immediate rematch clause, like you didn't actually pin the right person, and then they have another match or whatever.
Which they could have easily explained off on SmackDown, but they did not do.
Right, but yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So that's what I was hoping would come out of it, or sort of like if because of the focus on it during the match, like maybe thinking maybe that's where they're going with it. It's kind of dumb, but whatever. But yeah, no, it never happened. So it was bad communication.
There's definitely bad communication in the middle of that match because it was a lot of shit that you can clearly try to see that they were trying to communicate. And it was not working, but it did end up having 2 really cool moves with the tag team move and then the transition that she did to Sky Blue that she also did to Kyrie here into the Jaded was fucking great. And especially when you compound that with how much shit just went down, you think you might be like too flustered to do that and then still pull that off. I thought that was pretty cool. So the beginning, like pretty much the first half of the match and then the very end of the match was cool as shit. But that middle part, bro. That middle part was fucked.
People online were posting that clip of her doing the transition on Kyrie. And they were like, "Oh, look how much better she is now. She can do all this cool shit." And then people would post the clip of Sky Blue, and it literally looks exactly the same. And to whatever extent it doesn't, you also have to remember one of those two people has been wrestling for a lot fucking longer. So,
by the way, the person that has not been wrestling longer is heavier than Kairi Sane as well.
That too. So she weighs more. She had not been wrestling nearly as long, and it still looked just as good. It looked almost the exact same. But these people were trying to use it as an example of like her improving. Like, bro, you were blind or like.
I think the only different move I've seen Jade Cargill do in that match was the springboard crossbody that she did.
Yeah.
I don't think she's ever done that. I've never seen that I can remember, but that was pretty cool. Other than that, all the other moves were the same shit she's always done.
Yeah. I mean, people were trying to latch on to anything to prove that she needed something else after AEW. Like additional.
And the funny thing is us as AEW fans, we saw what she did in AEW, like, hey, that's good enough in WWE. Yeah. That's why everybody thought she could work in WWE because of her moveset in AEW. So you just set her in a WWE ring and she'd become a huge star. And that's exactly what the fuck they're doing. They could have done that months ago.
You go book her as girl version of Test and then let her fucking do her shit. That's it. She doesn't need to do anything special. Her moveset's fine. So, yeah.
All right, so I give let's grade it. Let's fucking grade it, baby. Let's grade the review of WWE Backlash France. Now, obviously, mine's probably gonna be a little bit higher than yours because I do think it was a mid pay-per-view, but it was enhanced by the crowd. And I do love that Jade and Bianca are the new champs. So I'm happy that something actually happened on an overseas PLE. I'm gonna give it.
The bar is so low.
It is low. Because when we looked at the card, we were like, what the fuck is this?
5 matches.
Thank God for the crowd, dude, or this would have been probably one of the worst ones ever, possibly.
Yeah.
5 matches, 3 hours? Let's talk about that, by the way. Can
Cody
we
and
do
AJ
something about a 3-hour pay-per-view that only has 5 fucking matches on it? Please. There's not enough build-up to show fucking video packages that last that long.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You know what though? Those video packages helped get it 5 fucking stars, baby. No, I don't know what the fuck Meltzer was on for that.
Oh yeah, is that what it was? He said, "Man, this was a 4.75, but that video package really put it over the top for me.
Yeah.
5 stars."
He said, "There's so much good storytelling, bro."
Mm-hmm.
AEW could never.
I'm gonna give it a. I'm gonna give it a. Give it a. Fuck. What did we give? We gave their last one like a B plus or some shit, right?
Yeah.
We gave. I think we gave WrestleMania a B plus or some shit. Okay.
I got this one at a C. It's just it was
C
a
minus
pay-per-view.
higher than yours. I'm gonna give it a B.
Okay.
Give it a B.
It had a few.
Like if I took everything, if I wanted to nitpick certain things like how long it was for a 5-match show, if I wanted to nitpick the middle of the tag team match and how predictable all the matches were, like I could probably knock it down to a C minus. But the in-ring work and the fans, which is the main 2 things of the pay-per-view when I'm watching it, it's like, okay, the fans got me hyped into it and believable, even though I knew all the outcomes already. And the match work wasn't terrible. There was no 5 stars on there. Sorry, Dave. But it wasn't, it was solid. It was mid, basically. So B. I'll give it a B.
I'm gonna stick with my C. That was not a convincing argument. Also,
okay, I wasn't trying to convince you, but
but no, I know. But like the matches were fine. The show was fine. The story builds were fine. Nothing really stood out as great or like.
Yeah, what are we going back and watching? I might go watch the Cody and AJ just because of the crowd, or I might go. But most of that's crowd stuff. I'm gonna watch on clips on Twitter, not on fucking.
I'll watch the Twitter clip of him getting the crowd chant and the shit shaking a couple times,
and the Orton thing, and maybe the transition or the tag team move of Jade and Bianca. Everything else is, you can miss me with that for a second time.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my C. I think that was good.
All right, so you're giving it a C. I'll give it a B. I guess I could go C plus, B minus. B minus actually would be higher than a C plus. B minus, maybe. That 3-hour fucking runtime really annoys me. 3 hours in the middle of the day for 5 matches, dude. No one needs to tell me about how many fucking matches AEW has on their fucking pay-per-views when they have 11, 12 matches and it's the same runtime as a 5-match show from WWE.
It is not the same runtime. Them shits go like 5 hours.
Well, I mean, they actually put stuff on the 0 hour. You don't have to watch 0 hour. No one says you had to watch 0 hour.
You do when you go?
They had a fucking 2-hour pre-show for fucking the France bullshit. Don't start your bullshit with me with no matches on it, by the way.
So the it did kind of feel like expecting someone to release an album and then getting like an EP. I was like, surely I thought they would have added some more matches just as filler that they just didn't announce or something to like surprise the crowd or whatever. But no, it was legit just 5 fucking matches.
Yeah, could you imagine how loud the crowd would have got if you would have had a fucking Sami Zayn match up in that bitch?
Right, just like a surprise, any kind of surprise, anything cool. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. It's whatever. But yeah, all right, so there's our grades for Backlash France.